Good morning, boys and girls. So on Friday, we read chapter 11, and a lot happened in chapter 11. Just to recap, so we can start 12 and 13 today. So Nori turns into the skunkafant. She makes the Sparkies really mad. So Elliot is now mad at her. Pepper scares her. And she ended up, because her magic went so wonky, even though their teacher doesn't want them to use that word, a lot of them felt that she embarrassed them. She made them like the laughingstock of school, and none of them are talking to her. So that's really hard on her when you go to school. And even put yourself in her shoes. When you guys go into school and knowing the entire class is mad at you, and no matter what your teacher's trying to do, it doesn't fix that these kids are all mad at you because you can't control your emotions of things like that. That's really, really hard. Is that a contradiction of what's been happening in the story? I think it's kind of been normal for Nori to lose control of her magic. So I think that kind of sticks with the norm of things. Remember, contrasts and contradictions are things that go against what's been happening in the story. So maybe the next couple chapters will have some of that. Also, she got to talk to Hawthorne and Dahlia for like seconds because their dad came home. Dad does not want them talking to her. And her sister and brother keep telling her, just fix your magic so you can come home. Just get rid of it. And if you've been listening to Miss Starr, her teacher, it's not something you can get rid of. It's just something you can control, learn to control better. So it's almost like she's conflicted. She has some wonky magic, and she's got to learn to accept it, whereas her siblings want her to get rid of it and just be normal. And that might not happen for Nori. We're going to have to read and find out. Chapter 12. On Monday, Bax turned into a rock at the beginning of headstand practice. As usual, it was Nori's turn to take him to Nurse Riley, and as she pushed the wheelbarrow down the hall, she peered into the other classrooms. It was the hour for magic study, and the fifth grade flares were roasting marshmallows in their hands. Their classroom smelled delicious. The fuzzy class stood in a circle around a large silver unicorn. They were grooming it and feeding it carrots. The fifth grade flyers were levitating 2 feet above the floor, slowly going round in a circle. Every now and then, one of them dropped lower or tipped backward, and the teacher would blow a whistle. Young flyers were called early birds. Most of them wouldn't be able to go higher than 5 feet until high school. Andres was an exception, obviously. Andres could probably soar all the way to the moon if he wanted. But then what? He wouldn't be able to get back down. Nori walked on. She reached the medical office and said, "We're here," to Bax, even though she wasn't sure he could hear her. "Ah," Nurse Riley said. "Headstand practice again?" Nori passed over the handles of the wheelbarrow. "Can I watch, please?" "Believe me, doll, this is something you don't want to see," Nurse Riley said. He shut the door. Nori took a different route back to Miss Starr's room. The Flicker classroom had a room full of kids staring at toads that hopped about on their desks. "Begin," cried the teacher. Half the toads went invisible. The other half looked like they were missing various toad body parts. No feet, no face, no middle. It was actually kind of cool, Nori thought. The fifth grade Fluxers were working on kittens. It wasn't a big class since Fluxers were rare. There were only about 10 students. Nori could say they were trying to add colors to their kitten transformations. 4 were still just black, but 5 had white spots and 1 successfully calico. "Luciana, stop looking out the window," the teacher chided. "The squirrels aren't your concern. And Alistair, don't scratch the furniture. All of you, remember to keep control of the animal mind." Nori wanted more than anything to join them. When she got back to the classroom, everyone was still doing headstand practice. Soothing music played. Miss Starr stood upright in the center of the carpet. "Nori, choose a spot beside Elliot." "Elliot," she whispered. "Hey, Elliot." He pretended not to hear her. "Boys and girls, think about this," Miss Starr said. "When you are upside down, the ceiling becomes the floor, and the floor becomes the ceiling. Am I right?" Boring, Marigold said under her breath. Fine, Miss Starr said, piercing Marigold with her gaze. But if you want to be the best you can be, this is how. She walked over and devoted herself to coaxing Andres into his proper bat position. I have a plan for us, Nori whispered to Elliot. And I know you can hear me, so stop pretending. You're annoying me again, said Elliot. It's a good plan, said Nori. A plan to get us out of upside-down magic. Elliot pressed his lips together. You and I are different than the others in our class, Nori whispered. We could do magic like normal people if we just got enough practice. Elliot didn't stop her, so Nori went on. If you stop freezing things and I can stick to just regular animals, then we can transfer out of UDM. We could go to the normal classes. You skunk sprayed the Sparky, said Elliot. I'm sorry. They were my best friends until that happened. Were they? Nori wondered. But she didn't want to say that to Elliot. Instead, she said, you can practice your flare talent, and I'll practice my flexing. We can help each other. If I were a regular flare, mused Elliot, maybe they'd like me again. We'll work on it, Nori whispered. You and me, after school. Elliot rolled out of his wobbly headstand and patted down his curls. Will Miss Starr let us leave the class? Will Principal Gonzalez? This was something Nori hadn't considered. Of course they will, she said. They have to. Do they? We can at least ask, can't we? Nori argued. They waited until the end of the school day. As soon as the other UDM kids left, they approached Miss Starr's desk. Yes, Miss Starr looking confused about why they were still here. She also looked tired, and Nora realized she was wearing her 4th change of clothes that day. We just wanted to say that you're a really good teacher, said Nori. And Andres and Willa and everyone, they're all right. They're all nice, right, Elliot? Elliot blinked. But Ellie and I, we're not the same as the others in the class, Nori went on. We can do normal magic if we practice. They can't. Is that so? Miss Starr said. Yes, it is, but we need your help. So will you? Will I what? Nori stood up straighter. We want to be tested, please, to see if we can place into the regular 5th grade. Miss Starr's face fell. Why? Nori felt a pang. She hadn't meant to hurt Miss Starr's feelings. Because we don't want to be wonkos, Elliot blurted. I hope no one is using that word here at Dunwhiddle, Miss Starr said, frowning. If Elliot heard the tremble in Miss Starr's voice, he didn't let on. We just want a chance to be normal, he said. Helping you be normal isn't my job, Miss Starr said. Her expression was earnest. My job is to help you understand what you have and accept it. I'm teaching you how to make the most of your talents. This class is where you belong because you have something unusual to offer. Please, begged Nori. Did you know that in the olden days, unusual powers were prized, Miss Starr continued? Powers like making rainstorms, creating ice, or seeing what no one else could see? Turning into combination animals was considered beautiful. They used to think upside-down magic was better than regular magic, Elliot asked. Some people thought it was better, just as now some people think it's worse. But I think it's just part of all the magic that's out there, said Miss Starr. I think Elliot and I can be normal, Nori argued. But what's normal? Miss Starr asked. If it was only a century ago that people separated the powers into the 5 Fs, you know. It's a very limited point of view. I believe there's no such thing as normal, and what we all deserve respect, just as we are. All that was very nice, but Nori wanted to go home to her family. Please let us try, she pleaded again. Miss Starr sighed. You want to test out of my class? Yes, said Nori. Elliot nodded. All right, Miss Starr said at last. If it means that much to you, I'll ask Principal Gonzalez to evaluate you. Nori grinned wide. This time would be different from the big test. This time she would pass. Chapter 13. Nori and Elliot practiced that afternoon at Nori's house. Aunt Margot gave them cinnamon toast for a snack, but she wasn't happy about their plan to get out of UDM. Oh, please, she said, sinking into a chair at the kitchen table after they explained it all to her. Just be who you are, not who you think you should be. Nori hated the expression on her aunt's face, but it didn't change her mind. We'll be outside practicing, she said. Come on, Elliot. Can you bring your toast with you? Aunt Margot's yard was full of vegetable plants and flowers. There was a line of laundry hanging out to dry in the September sun, and a small metal table with some chairs. Nori and Elliot ate and talked. Once we get switched to the regular classes, we'll get trained in all the regular things, Nori explained. Did you know they don't have to do headstands or interpretive dance or group trust exercises? She told Elliot what she'd seen when she'd peek into other classroom, about the Flares marshmallow lesson and the early bird flyers in the circle and the Fluxers working on colored kittens. So they were working on actual skills, he asked. Practical skills? And we will too, Nori said, as soon as we get out of UDM. How do those other teachers teach magic? Asked Elliot. If they don't do headstands and all that. They teach magic like Miss Starr teaches math. They explain how it's done and then the students practice doing it. She slipped a hairband off her wrist and pulled her hair into a ponytail. My father always said that good magic is like a well-trained house pet. Nobody likes a dog that barks all the time or a cat that scratches the furniture, right? I guess not. So people train their dogs and cats not to do that. That's how it's supposed to be with magic too. Magic is like a house pet. Father says you have to discipline it. The key to stone magic is to never get emotional. Stay in control, like a dog trainer. Yeah, but Miss Starr wants us to feel our feelings, Elliot pointed out. And she wants us to understand our magic, not control it. I know, said Nori, but I don't think she's right. Father says magic is supposed to be kept in a crate, just like you do with a puppy you want to train. And when you let the puppy out, you keep it on a leash, right? Yeah, Elliot said. But I don't think Miss Starr believes in crates or leashes, Nori said, and that's the problem. If magic is a puppy, said Elliot slowly, Miss Starr wants us to love the puppy instead of being its master. Yes, said Nori. She wants us to understand the puppy and connect with the puppy, so we don't need a crate or a leash. But that won't work with our magic. Work for our magic, Elliot pointed out. If you and I want to be normal, we have to think like your father and control it, don't we? He furrowed his brow. I have to squash down the freeze power and only do flare. And I have to squash down the different animals, said Nori, and just do regular ones. Yeah. For a moment, they were silent. Nori pulled a pencil out of her backpack. Okay, so let's think about control. Say you want to light this pencil on fire without freezing it afterward. How can you turn off your freezing and only do fire? Can you banish the freezing part of yourself? Maybe. What if you told the freezing part that it's bad puppy? Tell it that it's a bad puppy, and if it comes out of its crate, it'll get in big trouble. Try. Elliot took a breath. He stared hard at the pencil. It flared briefly, then went out. It didn't freeze, yelled Nori. It didn't freeze. But it went out, said Elliot glumly. I need it to stay lit. It's progress, exclaimed Nori. The bad puppy idea worked. Okay, your turn. Nori worked on the black kitten. Kitten. Only kitten, she thought. No beaver, no dragon, no anything. That part of my magic is like a bad puppy, a very naughty puppy that has to stay in a crate. Her vision blurred, and there she was, a kitten, a lovely kitten, perfectly shaped until... Oh, drat. Nori felt her body change. Her head grew big. Her tail grew thick. She had her kitten body, but she had the head and the tail of a goat. A small goat, but definitely a goat. She was a coat. Nori, Elliot shouted, change back, start over. I really should, girl Nori thought. I should change back and start over but first I will eat those vegetables plain. Coat, Nori interrupted. Yes, yum, yum, tomato plants, yum, yum, squash plant. And what's that? Laundry on the clothesline? Yum, yum, socks. Coat, Nori didn't understand socks, but she was happy to fill her coat tummy with them. Nori, stop! Can you even hear me? Elliot was yelling. Delicious socks. I wonder if there are shoes around. Coat, Nori thought. Oh, look, flowers. Those might be good to eat, too. She opened her mouth to eat some flowers, only to see them freeze solid. Ugh, cold! The shock of the frozen flower in her mouth made her turn back into girl Nori. Oh, Elliot, she wailed. Why can't I do it? Why can't I get something right just for once? You're not the only one who messed up, Elliot said. I meant to freeze a single flower, just to make you stop. But look, I froze them all. As soon as I got scared, I lost control and ruined everything. Nori looked at Margot's flowers, or what used to be her flowers. They were all flower-shaped icicles now, and the vegetables were eaten. And the socks, Nori sighed. We need a lot more practice, she said. And your aunt, Elliot noted grumbly, needs new rose bushes. We're going to stop there for today. Think about what happened in the story and think about if Nori has changed in some way and what may have made her change. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.